Hello friends, welcome to my channel Nihira Techiees. In this video, let me explore Angular in memory API. And additionally, we can do one basic redactions in Angular 17 using this Angular in memory API. First, let me tell you what is this Angular in memory API. It is a kind of fake REST API, okay? It's almost similar to our JSON server API. But only the difference is JSON server API will run in the separate port number, but this Angular in memory running within the applications. Okay. Next, we can see the use cases. There are two use cases. Okay. So the first one is real-time applications. The applications may handled by the different teams. Okay. So the UI part and these backends are handled by the different teams. At the same time, UI team cannot wait for the backend team completing their all the tasks. Okay. So meanwhile, for doing their development and also the testing purpose, they can use these kind of fake APIs. And the second use case is someone is newly going to land this Angular application, but they don't have any active API. Okay. So in this case, they can use this fake REST API for their study purpose. Okay. I hope you got some better understanding about this Angular in memory API. So next we can see how to configure and utilize in our application. For doing this implementation, I just created one application and installed the material UI. And then we can install the package for this Angular in memory API. So this command I will include in the description. Okay, the package is installed. Next, I am going to create two services. So the service is created. We can create the next service. I provided the name is master. Okay. Okay. So next we can move on to the data service. There we can do the configuration for our Angular in memory API. Here I am going to implement this in memory DB services. Okay. So we can implement this one and removing this override function. No need to throw anything and removing these parameters. Here we can return some array. Okay. So in this object we can have our arrays. So let me provide the name is products. So the same way we can create the multiple objects. Okay. So all are act as the separate endpoint. So let me save this one. And for these products, let me include some static values. For accessing this data, let me class one model class. We can provide the name is product model. Okay. Export interface product model. And then initializing the properties. So based on the data only, I'm just initializing. So let me save this one. Okay. So next we can configure this data service in our application through this app model. So in this app model, the import section, I'm just importing HTTP client in memory web API model. Okay. So in this for root section, we can include our services. Okay. Now the configuration is done. So next we can work for our actual services. So let me take this master service. So here I'm going to inject the HTTP client. So the first thing is we should import this HTTP client model here. So next in our master service, injecting this HTTP client, then declaring the API URL. So the API URL is API slash, then our object name. So we are going to use these products only. Okay. So next we can create our actual functions. So the first one is get all. So it will return all the products. We can mention the data type also. So the product model array. So the same way we can create the functions for other HTTP webs. Get product. So it's having one parameter, that is ID. Data type is number. Again, the method is the get method only. It will return the single object. Here we need to pass this ID. And the third one is post method. So the method name we can provide as the create product. Data type is product model for this parameter, okay? And the request type is post request. So we are not going to return anything. So in this parameter point of view, one is our API URL and the next one is the input data, okay? And the fourth one is for the update product. The request type is put request. And in this URL, we need to pass this ID, the unique value, okay? So based on this key value only, the update will happen, okay? And the final one is delete. So the delete scenario, the parameter is only just ID. And the request type is delete, okay? Okay, we successfully completed in our service side. Next we can move on the component. So the component point of view, I am going to use the default component only. So here we can remove all the existing content. So next in our TS side, we can implement this ng on into hook. And this title also not needed. Same time we can create the constructor. So in this constructor, let me inject our master service. Okay. And then declaring two properties. So the first one is product list. Okay. Next time creating one function, load product list. So in this function, we can consume our get_all service. So whatever response we are getting from the API, I am just sending into this variable, okay? So let me include one console.log and we can verify whether the API is working or not. So once we are able to get the values, then we can bind in one of the table. So after that, we can focus on the other functionalities like for the creation and update. Okay, the display point of view, it's not showing anything because we not even included any of the addition related things. So method is not implemented. Yeah, understood. Okay, in this hooks, we can remove this error and then we can call these functions. Okay. Okay. So we got three records, okay, that we initialized in our data service. It is acting as our in-memory service, okay. So next we can bind these data in one of the table. I'm going to use the material view table only. The required models already I have imported in this model itself. So first we can include the mat card. So this is my parent card. Inside that I'm going to include one more card section. So the mat table we used in many videos, just following the same procedure only. So next we can include the data source. So here let me declare one more variable. So currently we are having one array that we have to convert into the mat table data source. Mat table data source, okay. Now it looks fine. And then added the source and then declaring one more variable that is for displaying the columns. So the data type is string array and we can include some static values. So we have 4 columns. Based on the data only, we are defining the columns. So let me save this one. So next in this table section, so next we can include the table row and table header definition. So this is for the header and the next one is for the row. Next we can write for the individual column definitions and just add it here using this ng container. So in this mat column definition, we are included this ID that actually we have defined in our displayed column section, and then this is the static value, and then we are binding this ID data. Okay, so we are not going to use the shorting, so it's not needed. So if you want more details about this material weight table, I have created a separate video, so I will include the description also in the link. Okay, so the same thing we can apply for other columns also. So we can see the response. Okay, the data are loaded. So currently we have just 3 records only. So the next thing is we can include the buttons for doing this add, update and delete. For doing this add, we can directly include in this header section. So we can use the material weight table. It should be mat raised button. Okay, now it's fine. So next in our table section, I'm going to include one more column. Okay. Next in our HTML side, we can utilize that. And then I'm saying this is for action. And in this header section, we can say as the action. And in this TD section, I'm going to include the buttons. So the first one is edit, and the second one is delete. Okay, and we can write the respective function also. And we need to pass this ID as the parameter. Some spelling mistakes I am just corrected. So now this is for delete. So next we can declare both the functions. So both the functions are added. So next let me include some static CSS that I prepared based on my last video. So let me save this one and we can see the UI. Okay, then now it is fine. So the next thing is we can work for the creating new products. So what I'm going to do in our TS side, we can declare one more property. Okay, inside the default value should be false. Okay, and then declaring the reactive forms. So let me inject the form builder is here. Okay, and since we are using this reactive forms, we should import this reactive form model. Okay, it's done. And defining this form, we can provide the name is product form. So inside the group, I'm going to declare the controls one by one. So the first one is ID. So the default value I provided 0, and then making this as the disabled one. Okay, and the next field is name. We can make this is the required field. So the default value is CMT. Required. And the fourth one is description. Again, I'm just making this one also a required field. And the final one is price. So the default value just provided 0. So our form is ready. Next we can work on the designing area. Okay, this is our listing area. So once the listing is completed, I'm going to include one form. So inside the form, including this mat card and then mat card content. So next in this form, let me use the form group. So there we can use our product form, and then submit event ng submit. So these are the basic steps, okay, or else we can get save product, because the create and update both are happening in the same event itself. So we can include this event also here. That's it. Next in this content side, I'm going to include all the controls one by one. Mat form field, and then mat label, ID. So the form control name is ID. The directive we can use mat input. Okay, so let me save this one and see the design. Okay, the ID only it's coming. Actually, it is in the disabled mode, and we don't need to use the complete space. Okay, so 30%. So we can include all the other fields. See, we have all the fields. So the initial time we no need to show this page. We should show this listing only, so that we can handle through this function. So we just included this add button. So here let me include one function. Okay, and we can define this function also. So we can say is add equal to true. And in our HTML side, this is for actually our table, and this header is not needed. So let me use this ngf. Okay, for the same time for our form, can give like this. Okay, see the initial time the listing only it's loaded. When I'm clicking this add button, it's showing our form. So next we can include the button, so submit and also for cancelling. So at the end, after this method content, we can include this method actions. So there we can include these two buttons. So the first one is primary, we can say save. And this event is not needed because we are going to use the save. Submit. And the next one we can use the anchor tag. So the function name is back to list. Now this is side we can make as the false. So next we can work for this save functionality. Oh, again the spelling mistake. Okay, so that's fine. So in this save product, first we are checking whether it's having the valid value. Okay, and if it is the case, then we can create one object, and the data type is project model. Next we can assign the values. Okay, okay. So the same way we can apply for other fields also. So the second one is name, then description, and the final one is price. So here this name is the string, and the third one is description, and the final one is price. Price also a number. Okay. Okay, now it is fine. Once we have this valid data, we can call our API, create product, then we can pass this object. And just to subscribe this one. So we are mainly focusing on this Angular in-memory API. Okay, so that's what we are not worrying about this error handling scenario. We are just working on the positive scenario. We are expecting this should work. So once it is created, we can call our load product list. Okay, so we need to populate the newly created record also, and then we can say one alert like product created successfully, and also we can make like is add equal to false. We can just redirect to our listing screen. Okay, and one more thing, whenever we are clicking this add product, make sure we have to reset our form, otherwise the previous data only available. So now we can verify this one. Okay, same product created successfully, and see, we can see the new record, it's included, it's here. Okay, see the new products are created. Okay, so next we can work for this edit. So for this edit already included this function. Okay, so here also we can just call our services get product, and we need to pass this ID, and I'm subscribing this one. Okay, for getting the value, let me declare one variable. Once we have this value, we can assign into our form. Okay, so the same way we can apply for all the fields. Okay, let me format this one. Okay, this is fine. And for this edit scenario also, I'm including one more variable. So initially it should be false. So in this edit time only, I'm just making this into true. And in this back to list time, we can make this into false. Okay, and we can reuse this function. We can use it here. Okay, just to format it. And then is edit variable also I'm going to use in our HTML side. So this form is visible at least one of the property having the true value. Okay, and this list is visible if both are having the false value. Okay, initially it's showing. So if I'm clicking this add, so now there is no data, but it's showing our add screen. So when I'm clicking this edit, see, it's loaded with the existing data. So if I'm clicking the second one, see. So next we can work for the safe functionality. So already we have completed. So there we can include some optimization only. Okay. First I'm checking this is for add. Moving this code here. So next in this else scenario, first I'm going to assign the value for this ID. Okay. So because in our reactive forms, the ID field is disabled. Since we are using this value, it's not fetching the data. Okay. But the create time is fine because the ID is auto generated. But this edit scenario, this ID equal to using this raw value, we can get this ID and converting this into number. Okay. And next we can call the services. So instead of the create, we can use this update product and finally saying product updated successfully. So instead of 80, I am providing 85 and removing this all the contents and I'm saying test. So it's saying updated successfully. See, it is automatically reflected. So if I'm creating one new record, okay, it's reflected. So now if I'm trying to edit this one, see, it's reflected. So finally we have to work for this delete. So for this delete also we have a function we are having. First we have to confirm to the user. Confirm delete. So let me format this one. And then we can have the API call. ID is the parameter. Okay. So next we have to load this table and also shown the alert message. product removed successfully. We can verify now. Confirm delete once I'm clicked OK. So it's saying removed successfully, and also it's reflected in our list. Okay. So we successfully completed the CRUD actions. Once I'm refreshed, I can see the default three datas because these three values we have hard coded. Okay. So that's what it is coming once again. And this ID is the auto generated field. As of now, we are provided the integer number. So it is generated in the sequence order. So we can try using some string value also. So let me try yes1. Okay. I just want to verify the behavior, how the ID is generating. That's it. Okay. And in this model side also, we need to make this into a string. And in this form declaration also, we can say, so the default value is empty. And for this conversion, a string, again here also it is string. Okay, so almost we done. Let me verify. Yeah, initially it's loaded. Now I'm trying to create one record. Okay, it's showing the error. So the collection products ID type is non-numeric or unknown. So can only generate the numeric IDs. Okay. So I believe in this case we have to provide the ID manually because it will generate the ID only for the numeric. So anyway, that also we can try. We can pass this ID also parameter. So first I am removing this disabled property also. Okay. Then we can pass it manually. S4. So now it is ID is created. So if you want to use the auto generated ID, make sure you should have this ID column as the integer. Otherwise, you have to create the ID manually. Okay, so that is the conclusion. So now we are in the end of the video. So I hope you got some better idea about this Angular in memory. Still, if you have any doubts or clarification, please post in the comment box. And also please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you. Thanks for watching.